teaching, because I'm not a tandem driver. I'm a leader. I don't like tandeming very much because I can't. Through my own driving style, I can't push to keep going to get up to try to tandem with people. And I'm not a fast or slow driver. I'm just like right in the middle that never gets there. Plus, also tandeming is really fun, but it's also a matter of like you have to synchronize it correctly, and it's not just like, oh, I'm up by your door. I have to change direction now, so then you crash or whatever.
Yeah,
which is what a lot of weird situations do happen with.
Yeah, people who don't drive together a lot, it's like you're not gonna get right up on them like you would someone that you drive all the time. Like
there's a lot.
I can predict when Matt's gonna change direction pretty good, and it pretty much always works. But we can like get super synced up when we're driving a lot together. But like I would never get that close to someone else.
Yeah,
because it's just too sketchy. Because you don't know this other guy that well.
Yeah.
You can get on him and like. You can Daigo them where you're like, and then get right on it and then back out.
I don't really
you can't stay on them consistently.
Would do that though, but
yeah, many different driving styles.
Yeah, I think drifting in general sort of lost on me now. It's just
I'm over it. I'm over it. Stupid.
I do enjoy driving different cars though, because it's a new challenge and if you drive something that's very difficult to drive, it's very rewarding when you can actually get it to drift. You're like, at the end of the day, it's still going sideways and varying the speed and whatever. But to drive something that's not supposed to, or it's very difficult to, is a lot more fun now.
That's why no one should drive S13s or S14s.
It's a good learner thing.
Not that I know, because I've never driven one. So I have no idea if they're easy to drive or not. Maybe my car is easy to drive.
They are very simple. I've driven some that are not set up in any regard, and they're very, very difficult to drive.
Yeah,
and it's fun when a experienced driver drives them and can't drift it, and then some can, and it's sort of like, oh, where in their driving spectrum did they just sort of give up on trying to make something work? Caitlin's car is one particular one. She has completely blown suspension, so it's just shocks. It's just springs in the back, so it bounces on everything.
Yeah.
And when I finally got it to S correctly, and then linked the track after, I was like, holy shit! It was so hard to get this thing to drive, and you have to predict when it's gonna bounce, and you can use that bounce to your advantage. And it's just like this ridiculous car. It's a terrible car, but it was so much fun to just no, I get it. I got it. Just got a little bit. It's just like skateboarding, where you're like going, you fuck up, and then you finally get some sort of positive reinforcement. You're like, oh, I almost got it.
Yeah.
And you get stuck on this. I'm gonna fucking do this. I really enjoy that part of drifting now.
I feel like that part of drifting is going away though. Like that part of drifting is the 17-year-old kid who gets his car and goes out and doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know what springs to get, doesn't know anything, and just figures it out. Yeah. And you just learn like, oh, the car's doing this, that's weird, and like this is what I have to do to get past that. Yeah. Whereas now you just show up at the track with your V8 and every arm and every bushing on the car, and it's a totally different way of learning. Like you're you know?
Yeah, like I learned in this horrible piece of junk.
Yeah, I learned with like an open diff Corolla.
It sucked.
Like I beat dudes at a drift event who had 240s with welded diffs and knuckles with a Corolla that only had coilovers. Like only had coilovers.
That is a measure in some regard. I also like being a judge and like seeing how some of our winners win. Like we've had guys who've had like the perfect bounce. Like they shouldn't have won the round, but because the other person spun out or did this or that, and then gets up to like final top 8 or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I made it top 8. And you're like, that's not a measure of like how good you did necessarily. You were it's not every single case. I'm just not
luck
saying
was
that,
on your side.
Yeah, there is
probably
different
was.
things.
Yeah.
And I mean that goes into the overbuilt thing, and then that goes into the island style, the garbage cars with like nothing done to them. And some of the BMW guys make angle kits out of various pieces of BMW that are all factory parts, and that's interesting ingenuity. And here at the island, I'm very pointing about, like, you don't need knuckles, you don't need all these different things. You need a welded, or you need a locking diff of some description. And even, I think I've had the most fun in my stock Supra, and with the stock suspension bouncing all over the place. Like, that was the most fun ride, because it worked. I mean, that car is special because it has a working e-brake and the clutch worked and had enough power to, like, keep going. But it was, you don't need that stuff. And those who rely on it, like, I've watched it, I've talked to some of these guys who just, like, go right to lock. You just flick it, go to lock, and because of the mechanical slowing down, they just drift at lock. And I'm like, if you look up there in the stands, it looks like garbage. Like, you may think that you're driving good, but you're not flowing at all. And it started to sink in with a lot of the younger kids that they're like, because you don't usually use a lot of lock. I found with the extra lock in the Supra, which has, like, no lock from stock, I was like, this is the point where I would spin. This is like, oh, I got a little bit more so I can not spin here. And it definitely, angle has its place in drifting for sure, but it's not a checklist of I need these things to drift. And that's where, like, America and the island and mainland and all, and Alberta and stuff gets so vastly different.
If I had if someone dropped off a GTS in my driveway, I wouldn't move it until I had knuckles, RCAs, traction brackets, lengthened upper rears, lengthened control arms. Like, I have a list of things that I know will make it work. So
but is that just from driving a Corolla
it's just from, like,
for 2 decades and knowing every single little thing
it's
that
like,
you
why
want?
would I bother being frustrated when I can just make this work the way that I know it will work? I'll just put these parts on.
But that's like
a couple $100 on Yahoo Japan.
But like, that's like someone bringing you a canvas in your Picasso, and you're like, all right, here's what's gonna happen.
This is how we do this.
Yeah, versus, like, you just give it to some kid with his finger paint, and he's like, eventually he might figure out how to make a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And that's how you get to that point too. But also, a Corolla, for all of its excellentness that it is, it needs everything to do drifting stuff, because everything's so fragile and breaking all the time. And
isn't really worth trying to drift stock, like a stock GTS. In the winter, it's fun. Yeah. With, like, welded diff or LSD in the snow or the rain, it could be fun stock. But if you're trying to drive it around, it's like coilovers, traction brackets. Like, I have a laundry list. It's all very basic, pretty cheap stuff, very doable. But, like, I just wouldn't even bother trying to drift it because not that interested.
That's chassis specific though too. In a lot of cases.
And I don't know anything else. Like, even a Mango. Like, there's a kid who was asking me just a while ago, like, what would I need to do to make my car drift if I had a 72 Corolla? And I'm like, my car is so far removed from an actual 72 Corolla that I couldn't tell you how to do it without, like, doing everything.
And it's based
because my car is retarded. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
None of it is normal. None of it is bolt on. It's just
it's a gerbil ball.
A horrible automobile.
It's a gerbil ball.
Yeah, it shouldn't work. It does because nothing is normal. So unless you're ready to start welding and spend 5 years under your car, it's not really worth trying to drift it. It probably is, but
that's
I'll
why
find out with the white
when we teach a lot of guys, it's get into a chassis that you can get into. If you want a simple seat time car, you get a basic whatever. It's not going to be
an S13 or an E30 color. Just drive.
No, E36 is probably better.
Yeah,
but anyways, it's just a car that's simple. You can learn it, and then you can build your other car that no one's ever should drive or whatever, because you then have this adaptive what you need to having, like, because we've come across so many guys who are like, I've been building this thing for the last 5 years. I'm like, you have zero. You're building this one-off thing that you have no idea how it drives, let alone what you need for drifting.
Yeah.
Super boring to look at. Yeah. But it's the driving part of it.
Work. Yeah.
And it's it'd be good it'd be nice if there was more body kits and wide wheels and low cars and painted one color and whatever, but
one color is good.
Reach that point eventually.
Well, I remember when I started, I felt I was hard. I feel like I was fairly proficient at driving the Corolla. Like, I was going to all the local events, like, having fun. Mm-hmm. I was, doing pretty good. Like I said, I think I won a couple of competitions, and then, like, I went to the local shop, and I'm like, yo, like, what do I need to do to, like, get to that next level? Yeah. And then he was like, make your car not look like shit. It's like how's anyone gonna want to watch, or how's any
wants to look at
sponsor
that?
gonna want to have their name on the car?
Yeah.
No matter how good you're doing, when it kind of looks like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of true. It's like
Yeah.
you go to F1 and it's like the car with the sickest livery is the car you're hoping for, like not the car
Are
that's
you down
the best.
with Red Bull or Ferrari?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about
or
that.
Mercedes because they're chrome.
Don't force India, bro.
Pink. Should we start this actually?
Oh, I thought we were talking.
I'm recording. No, it's fully recording, but I've been recording for quite a while, but we haven't started anything.
Right.
Where's the list, Chris?
You got to throw down your intro.
You got to stick to the topics.
That was the topic. Have you never heard me rant before? Attention to the high hell.
Do I have to do everything for you?
What, the intro?
Yeah.
This is Hanging with Vrand and Hang, and we have a special guest, Kevin Peterson of Serial 9. He makes stuff. He has a pink car.
He's waving hello.
I am waving to the...
He's a Force India fan, apparently. If you
like
can tell by
pink.
my spray painted chrome bumper on the back here,
yeah.
that's my Mercedes nod. The spray chrome.
Yeah. It's pretty sick.
I like it. It's very good.
Let's get that chrome wrap. That would be really good.
I should chrome wrap it.
Sounds like a bunch of work.
Yeah.
Just put crest on the side of it and then be done with it.
Toothpaste.
Yeah.
Major toothpaste sponsors. I need to brush my teeth more.
That's what drifting needs is more like real world sponsors.
9 out of 10 dentists agree.
But
Paul's
not
drift
in,
car is the best toothbrush.
But not in Formula D. Like, we need grassroots sponsored.
We need more donk livery.
Yes, like Tricks or like McDonald's.
Just
like whatever.
Just fully commit to an entire brand.
The Pop-Tarts.
Hawaiian Punch. Yeah. That Corolla. Or that T-Mobile ad with that Corolla.
And the Pop-Tarts. Whatever ad that was with the BAM back in the day. So what are we talking about today, Chris? Final Bout trips?
Final trout, yeah. Because 2 of the 3 guests have gone because the 3rd guest is...
You are a wanker.
I am a huge
You could have come with us.
I wanted to go, and once I found out that Serial 9 was going, I was like, I would really like to try this, but I have no time off, and I can't take time off. So.
Yeah, and it takes a long time to get there and back.
The logistics of it, of actually, if I was to fly out and then deal with trying to get someone to pick me up or whatever, was just a nightmare. And I was like, no, that's more than I can deal with right now. But it did look really cool in a lot of the videos because there's been a lot of variety of videos of like in car as well as out car, as opposed to like the best of, which is not a video I'm quite fond of.
Mm-hmm. There's been lots of good ones. Lots of just local kids who filmed stuff and put together little edits of every different team video on YouTube, and you can see like here's the best of these guys, their runs that I caught. It's kind of cool.
And that drone club that's there who has like the whole event.
Yeah,
one continuous
you could like
live stream.
Live stream 8 hours worth of drifting helicopters.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's also very awesome if you've watched the drone stuff. How the sound travels straight up. It's so weird.
Sounds weird, yeah.
Because you can hear people clear as day, like, oh, that's Jim Bob from Edwards' place. And I was like, who is saying this? Like, oh yeah, you want to get pizza later? And you're like, where is this boy? Are we like tapped into someone's like cell phone conversation somehow? Where is this coming from?
It's wild.
And
It's
then
super
also
weird.
every time someone joins, it's like, "Doo-doo, Steve Q has joined the chat." And you're
Yeah.
like, oh man,
It's
that's
like a Twitch thing or something?
it's called Fox Valley Drone Club, and they're over there, and they just record all the time.
Oh, wow.
But you can actually like, because it's streamed, you can actually like comment live on stuff too.
Is
When
this,
we got
is
back,
this where we
started-
got to with CB radios and stuff? Is this like the next evolution of
Probably, yeah.
just
Well, it's like
picking up a CB radio and talking to someone on the line?
Talking with someone on the line.
it is on the line
Yeah, hotline.
on their TV show.
Yeah,
We
that's
got back and we went to Landon's place in Seattle on our way back, and the first thing we got on the computer TV device and brought up the Twitch stream from the Saturday,
Yeah.
because like oh my god, OMG Drift and a bunch of other people did live stream. There's a Hoonigan one too, but it's just like it was like reliving. It was weird, and like of the people that were all like, I'm stuck at work, I wish I was there, but I'm watching this, and they're like all commenting away and like, is so and so there? Is who there? Like, whose car is that? Where's Hurt? Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. watching the stream back.
Yeah, I got a text from Eric, and he's like, "Are you guys sitting in your pits right now?" I was like, "Yeah, we're just sitting here chilling, taking a little break." He's like, "Yeah, they're filming, like, they're doing the Twitch for the Hoonigan. Like, I can see you in the background, like, waves." I'm like, "Yeah." then, like, 10 minutes later, he's like, "Yeah, they went out, they're filming on the track now. Go out and drift." I'm like, "Okay." So I go out and drift, and it's like, he's texting me, like, as I'm drifting.
Like, live?
Yeah.
Like, totally interactive?
Yeah, I'm like,
"Go do a sick drift, bro!"
Yeah, exactly. Man,
That
what a world we live in.
Turn 3 on intermediate, kill it!
That happened with Nori Yara was doing a live stream at Nico, and Josh Whitehead was there. And it was like
Weird.
at midnight or something. Amy and I were watching it. I was texting Josh on Instagram, and he was getting back. And then Alexi was like, he went up to him afterwards. and was like, "Hey, like, wave out to Chris over in Canada and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious!" Like,
oh fuck,
what is it? It's like the fourth dimension or something.
Yeah,
it's
really
cool.
weird.
That was really neat. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we try to avoid technology, but I'm surprised we don't have carburetors. But Matt avoids technology at all costs.
He's gonna be that guy. Like,
I almost did it at first because I was afraid of the wiring.
Yeah.
I was almost like, I'm gonna put my Webers on this.
Stick with what you know.
But I'm pretty happy with it.
So what was your fondest memory of Final Trout?
Oh, jeez. A Final Bout Gallery? Just getting there. The usual. It was good. It was actually a pretty stacked Canadian top 20. That was very stoked. I was stoked on that. But
how many other Canadian, or is it because the Ontarians?
Yep, there's a bunch of guys from Ontario, but between like Kevin and Carter and
you
and me,
Rob
Parsons, yeah, there was just like, we had a good 25%. Who else was there from Canada? One of the other dudes
Liam,
from
that R34.
Yeah,
I think his name's
Liam. Yeah, Curb Stomps.
Yeah.
What's his Kirby? Liam Kirby or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, his car is awesome. He's a pretty regular there.
Isn't there a few like Ontario guys that come down together?
Yeah, there was the whole, they were pitted beside us, Team React, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the guys from Drift Jam were there, so I met Jover and Mike and what's the other dude's name? Drawing blanks now, but yeah, my
terrible name.
My high point was basically getting like the first 5 laps in and then blowing a lot of coolant out of my car and then getting it fixed and doing like 4 runs in qualifying and then actually making it in the top 20. I was like, oh my god, my head gasket is blown, my weekend's over. No, okay, it's holding coolant. And then like, what? I made it top 20? Yeah! That was a good roller coaster. Like you're saying, roller coasters, it's like, phew,
Sounds like you both had a very
top of the world.
Very similar Toyota failure of coolant and keeping stuff in the motor.
I thought I was improving my coolant piping, but apparently I made it worse. So they just blew off hoses that have never come loose in
Did you finish
years.
your car too just before the bout or what?
Yeah, I had time. Like I wasn't cramming sleepless nights leading up to, but the weeks leading up I was definitely putting in lots of hours every evening, but it wasn't like last minute panic. It was getting put together at a nice rate, and it wasn't like a shortcut or anything. I thought I was improving my like heater hose cap off setup, but it built more pressure now and blew the caps off. It was weird. So whether that's because I have a slightly warmer thermostat in there now, or who knows why it did it, but I got 5 laps in and they were sick, and then I was like, my car is very humid and I don't like this smell, and then I got out and I was like, oh crap, there's a big puddle growing really fast and I can't tell where it's coming from. It was just like pouring off the tranny. Like I looked under the car and it was just like coming out of the tranny, so I was like, the head gasket's blown, and it's just like,
it's a weird spot for
blasted. Like there's fittings on the back of the head, which in my car, like through the firewall, you can't get anywhere near.
Yeah.
So I was like sticking my phone in there, trying to like take pictures or use it as a periscope, and it was like, oh god, what is this coming from?
At least the steam cleaned whatever it touched.
Yeah. So I actually had I disconnected all the front suspension and undid the subframe, like lowered the motor down like 12 inches. Like I had the motor halfway out of the car had the exhaust mostly off.
Great, I didn't know any of that.
Just to find this coolant leak, and then had to drive into town, get new caps and hose clamps and get it back together. Yeah, the Saturday morning was great. I was just like, oh man, my weekend's already over.
I feel like everyone there had something like that. Like everyone's going through something and you have no clue.
Yeah.
You're just trying to do your own thing, or you're
there's so much going on. Yeah, you're trying to stay on track yourself.
Yeah.
So you never know what the struggle is, but there's other struggles that are funnier. My struggle was good though, because it was in a good like, oh man, to like back up to the top. I'm like, yeah, top 20. Because I did some real sketchy things just because I've never done that over the hill.
Oh, yeah.
And I kept flicking it the wrong way. I'd come over the hill and be like, oh, and I'm like, oh, shit! That's not the way I need to go! It was freaking me out, so I ended up doing like 3 motion most of the time. Like going the wrong way. So it turned into 3 instead of like the nice big long 2 motion. Yeah. So it was wacky as hell. So I was like, what the hell just happened? And then I almost died, like flew through the hay bales up onto the front straight. Like initiated, and then there's the dip, and then you're like, but I like launched off that over the hay bales.
Oh yeah.
And then like up to the front straight instead of doing the other section. Slide onto the front straight facing the wrong way.
You just don't want to stay on track, do you?
I was going hard. I wanted to hit fast. Yeah. I wanted to like jump over the top of the hill in third. And
yeah.
Well, you should come back to Western because we have a hill and we have a jump in the middle that can be fully utilized.
Full airtime.
Yeah, it is sick.
Jumping is fun.
Yeah, it is very much fun.
There's some good spots where you could park. There's a spot that we never used to feel it, but we got faster and faster and faster, and then there's like a little unweighty spot that you hit super fast now.
Where your stomach sort of like lifts.
Yeah, it's like, are you jumping now, Matt? Because I feel like I'm jumping in turn 3. Like it's full little hop. Whoop. It's super cool.
It's a nice change.
Mm-hmm.
How was your weekend, Kevin?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a lot of rushing to get the car done. More rushing than I wanted to do. But that's always the case. Then I had some coolant issues in Chicago as well. We were there for a couple of days before going to Final Bout. So I got to
drive around a bit.
Test the car there, yeah. So honestly, that was one of the coolest parts for me, was like showing up in Chicago with Gerard, and we have our cars and you can just drive them. Yeah. Like you're not worried about getting a vehicle inspection.
Because you're not in Vancouver.
Yeah, getting your car taken away, getting a ticket for exhaust being too loud or too much camber. Like as soon as you cross that border, that's like you just feel free. It's you know, and it sucks to have that feeling of like you're doing something wrong when all you're trying to do is drive your car. You know,
and just have a hobby.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a hobby and stay away from drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, I'm not even being an idiot. Why are you following me around?
Yeah. So that was honestly the most fun for me, I think. Like the event was awesome and sick, and that track is legendary. Like whatever I got to do to get to that track as many more times before I die as I can is what I got to do.
But would you want to go to the track when there's not such an event, where it's just like an everyday boat, like just because they have more likely have locals that are just
they do they have a lot of D-Day events there. But yeah, I said this after DUI. It's like I don't really want to run any event that's not run like DUI, Final Bout, or Villains, where it's people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
The track is open. You go drive the track. You don't want to drive the track, you come off. You drive with everyone there. It's just continuous driving.
Yeah.
Like the
DUI is different though, because the drift days there don't run like that.
Correct, and I don't know that the drift days there run like that. And I'm saying no matter the track, I only want to go to events run in that style, because you're not sitting in a lineup waiting and then driving for 10 seconds and then waiting.
Yeah,
that isn't fun.
Go to Spirit Peaks and just hot lap all day.
Yeah, it's all about the hot lapping.
Yeah. Evergreen, like that's why people don't go there anymore, from what I understand. Like, is why would you go sit in line at Evergreen when you can go?
There's no cap on that now.
You can go to Spirit Peaks and just hot lap all day.
Yeah.
So depending if you want to be a Pro-Am superstar or not, I guess. But
I wanted to drive the Spirit Peaks event, but then it was $300 US, and I was like,
it's like next weekend.
August 3rd, I think. Yeah. I was like, I can't pay that amount of money.
Not cheap.
And then everyone is saying that Spirit Peaks is the cheapest track to drive, and you can pay $50 and go drive it.
You can.
He just rent the track out on certain days and stuff, because
bunch of cones laid out, or
It's
tires laid out.
It's like
got
a
lines
go-kart
painted
track.
now. They've painted lines, so there's a line, and then there's tires further back from the line, but the line is there now, which is super cool. I haven't been there since the line is there. I was there when it was just tires.
Yeah.
So there was it was just in an amoeba. You could just drive. The line was
Anywhere you
you
wanted.
could just go wherever you wanted, so it was really hard to tandem.
Yeah.
But I think they've narrowed it up and painted painted lines, which would be like painted lines on our highway.
Yeah.
And then there's tires further back from there as a protection barrier, but it gives you it tightens it up, so it's probably easier to do tandem now.
Yeah.
But it is really fun.
Yeah, it looks
And you
fun.
can go fast.
Yeah, it looks
I did a whole lap in third gear in my car, which is
wow.
hilarious. It's open enough that you can hold third in a 4-cylinder. Just nice big clutch kicks in third, roasting my clutch, but
But
it's fun.
I don't know how fully Final Bout is with continuous drive, because I understand there's several beginner, advanced, and expert courses, so there's 3 things always going on at once. Is that
There's
correct?
2 tracks that they can run simultaneously, and it's not necessarily hot lapping, but
It's
there's-
minimal.
there is a starter, but there's 2 layouts going, and it's weird. There just isn't really that much lineup usually.
The only time
You
I
go
ever
through.
felt I was like, man, what is going on? Was
When someone would crash.
When someone would wreck. Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, time to get over to intermediate. You
Yeah,
just switch
just-
to the other
just
track,
leave, yeah.
or everybody goes off, or it's weird because there is no need to be out there to qualify, or no need to go do your run. It's super relaxed. You're gonna get enough seat time, so people are chilling, talking, walking around, eating, and then they're like, yeah, I want to go drive. Yeah, let's go for a rip. And you get in your car and you go down the track.
Yeah, I mean that's the ideal for every, because you just want to go drive. You don't want it's like streeting, right?
Yeah, it's
you
not
just go.
there's there was 100 cars. There's a lot of cars for that track. The pits are packed.
Yeah.
But there isn't the feeling of oh my god, let's get on track. I'm not getting enough runs in.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel like I got enough driving already.
And DUI
It's
too.
weird.
I think it happens a lot with the 2-day events, because at least with DUI, when I've been in the past, there would be a lineup. It is fairly moving, because it's go and then go and then go and then go. And I mean, even with our Cap D stuff, I mean, it's not terribly long. It's depending 3 to 5 minutes sort of thing. If the after school specials are go. You get tired of driving before you just get tired of driving. You just don't want to drive anymore.
Yeah, it's grippy feet. You're just ugh. Too many runs.
I mean, when you have comps where it's 50, 60 people, and you do practice during the day, and then there's lulls of drivers because people are breaking down, things happen, and then you go back to it. It is your idea. The flip side to the DUI thing is that you don't have any cool down time. You're you go, and then you go, and you're fuck, my
But
car.
you do.
Yeah,
It's just
you have
entirely
a choice.
up to
You just have a choice.
Yeah,
to
it
do
depends how
But the other thing is
FMO
you can do
are.
a cool down lap. You're I just did 2 or 3 hot laps. I'm just gonna putt around the course once or twice and let the car cool down. Whereas if you're doing the go in line, you don't have that option either.
Yeah.
At the end of the second day, usually close to the end of second day at Final Bout or any of those events, when there's a lot of guys out of tires, a lot of guys broken, whatever, and it's you're still running and you still have tires, and you're just hot lapping, do 2 hot laps, come back, do 2 cool downs because you're so hot, and do 2 more hot laps, and then do 2 cool downs, and you can just keep going and going and going. I drove until I literally made myself sick.
Yeah.
And had heat exhaustion.
Yeah,
I got out of my car and just
arms hurt.
fell on the ground and started vomiting I was fucked. At Final Bout 3 at the end, I was just destroyed because I just hot lapped for the last 3 hours. Just kept putting new tires on and shotgunning a couple waters and then going back out and just I'm getting as many runs as I can.
My allergies killed me at Final Bout 3 there. I went home after that event
a whole new
the
environment.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
And it was 8:30. I had a shower and I went to bed.
It was May, so it's springtime. So
Yeah.
and it's farmland, so there's all
Like,
that
right
hay,
on
all
the
that
river.
so much stuff in the air.
Literally, it
there.
was just water's pouring on my eyes and
How were you at
sneeze
Special Stage West? Because it was also crazy.
Yeah,
Springtime and everybody was just I can't breathe. What's wrong with my face?
Yep, that's me.
Allergies.
Got my leg red today though.
Yeah.
This is me always.
Oh, poor Chris.
I have found good drugs, though. I am now a normal
drug addict.
Yeah.
What drug are you on?
I have nasal spray that actually allows me to use my nose.
Otrivin?
I have no idea what it is.
Ooh.
Can't remember.
Otrivin.
But yeah.
Final bout. You should have come.
Well, it was the final one, so.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
Yeah.
Until next time.
But yeah, honestly, they say that, but then when you go there and you're like, yo, like, how could this just stop? Like, how...
Yeah, they just needed a few minutes to recoup and like, oh my god, it's too much organizing.
It back up again. It's to build that. If you have it every year, it's sort of like, well, if I miss it this year, I'll just get it the next year.
It's true.
It's to have that once-in-a-lifetime thing so that everyone comes to this event that's, worthy and whatever.
Yeah. It was kind of neat with less of a team focus, too. It took the whole silly team competition part out. And they always do a competition part, but it's not really super serious.
I kind of agree
that it made it like nice and open, and you just went and did your thing.
Getting rid of the team part it
made it kind of cool. A lot of teams showed
up, yeah.
And it teamy, but it also allowed some individuals to come who wouldn't necessarily have a crew. Because there's all these guys who have a team, and their team just isn't going to get their shit together.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're unworthy, but yeah, it was
just like the competition.
It made it so that they couldn't before, where it was a team thing, where now you could just show up as an individual, like Stuart Leask, Stu 40, and who's the dude with that friggin' super nice orange 240 on like Meisters?
Yeah,
can't remember his name of that thing. Like the creamsicle orange car is like, that is a sick car. Like,
yeah, fully looks like the M Sports, like 2001.
That was a cool
just
car.
doesn't have delivery.
Yeah, there was some stuff there that didn't necessarily have a team, but was fully looked sick.
Yeah, more like Gerard and I. There's only two of us. So.
What about Carter? I thought Carter was soon.
Yeah, I just meant like when we're registering for the event or like thinking about going. It's like in years past.
Teams of 3 only. What?
Well, you just like
minimum
when you're like, oh, you guys didn't drive at Special Stage West. It was like, well, our cars weren't really there yet. / there's only the two of us anyway.
Well, it just depends on how they present the team event. Like you can our team tandem things. We're like, you don't have to have a team if you want to do the very small team comp. You have to have a team, and you can literally just meet anybody you want there and just go drive.
Yeah.
But there's still full practice. It's still in regular things. Just the competition part is just a team thing.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do that because, like, drifting is to be drifting with your friends, to have fun with new people, meet new people. Like, that's how I've met both of you and all these other people throughout everywhere I've been. Mm-hmm. And that's part of me is meeting my different friends, and especially doing my own weird characteristics to actually find people in a furry concert and be like, I'm not the only weirdo here. And so it's...
I'm not so weird.
Well, I'm definitely weird. My coworkers also think I'm crazy, and I've come to terms with that. But it's just to build camaraderie and those, and also drifting has a lot of like weird people who are like super shy, shut in. Like we get a lot of those here in the island for whatever reason, and we're just trying to like just go meet someone. Like you drive a certain way. Maybe I'm like, we're not trying to force you to have friends and stuff, but like fucking give it a go. Mm-hmm. Give it at least a college try. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, but try it. And there's been a lot of different teams that have come out of the island, and a lot of good friendships and stuff like that, and it's been nice to see, as opposed to individuals who are competing against each other and like who have animosity, which we've never had at our facility. So
little animosity never hurt.
There's friendly rivalries if you want to do
hatred, pure hatred.
Okay.
When I was trying to run Pro-Am, which was like forever ago, I was definitely like not set up. Mm-hmm. Like I have like no team. I'm driving my car down from Canada.
Doing everything yourself.
Doing everything myself. Like I barely have the safety equipment,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never really felt any animosity from anyone there. And I don't know if that had to do with the time it was in drifting. Drifting was still fairly new. Everyone was still kind of a smaller community. Like you knew most of the people. Like if you're driving at the Pro-Am, you've probably been driving at Evergreen for 4 years already, you know, because they didn't. It was a long time before Evergreen ever had the Pro-Am series or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That was before they did Pro 2 and stuff. It was just Pro-Am.
It was just Pro-Am and then straight into FD back then. Yeah.
That was your X7 too?
Well,
that was my X7.
FD back then was basically like not even Pro 2 at Evergreen. Like,
it's
the level is so insane now.
So ridiculous. But yeah, I just felt like it didn't really feel like anyone there was like trying to make the other person do bad. It felt like everyone was willing to try and help out, and you know what I mean? Like, it did feel still like a family and like a community, despite all being there to compete against each other.
Mm-hmm. There was not a lot of preconceived notion of like, I'm the best, I'm gonna win.
And there was no like that, but like some people have that in life in general, you know?
Yeah.
I don't mean that like it's gonna be like with circle track stuff and the other racing groups that run at Western have a very different sort of. I can't speak for. I just from my own how I see things. Yeah. Is that there's guys who have verbal abusive matches at each other and stuff that are like, you cut me off, you did this or that or whatever, and that's like a racing thing. Like drifting to me is never. It's not the base time thing. It's not a. Yeah. That's what's always separated it for me is that there's two. It's just one's for fun, one's for winning, and typically winning when people get angry is when there's prize money there. I'm doing this as a job, and you're fucking with my bills and my livelihood. So that's where that sort of weird animosity comes from, where someone does something illegal and then it's affecting them in a monetary way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's obviously not everywhere, but that does definitely happen.
Yeah.
I think it also has to do with the fact that drifting is judged. Like it's always up to someone.
Yeah.
And they can have whatever bias they have, like whether it be like against a certain chassis, against a certain person, against a certain team, against a driving style.
Yeah.
Like which is against the motor you have.
Yeah. Like that's my issue with FD is that it was always I never understood the judging part of it because there was so many judging controversies. And as I was in my own judging position, I was like, I started to see some of their points of view, because when a driving level is so high and there's so little room for error, that's why they have all their clipping points. So there's definitive points that you have to check mark off.
Yeah.
And I also started to look back on the old Japanese films for like D1 and stuff, and why some drivers would win or not win and stuff. And I started having more of an appreciation for the technical aspect of why one who did a bobble here or there or whatever, and like looking at every single thing. And you're a human, you can make mistakes, and sometimes you may have a bias of like, I liked what this driver was doing the whole day, and then he fucked up on this one, so I'm giving him a little bit of break or whatever. And at least in R, because we're so grassroots that we don't discriminate if you're driving an 86 versus a JZ, where the gap is huge. In most cases, we're just judging the fact that you're both drifting. Mm-hmm. If one did better or not is up to the driver, which is why, because we're very low power centric, and we have very few cars that have more than 300 horse, for example. Yeah. So we try to keep it unbiased in that way, so that people who have a car that doesn't make a lot of power but drive technically better, they should be rewarded for that, as opposed to someone throwing a bunch of power down like that. So and that's also another contention too, is that some of these drivers who had Pro-Am aspirations had we want definitive points so that we can checklist. So if I'm not making those checks, there's a reason why I didn't win versus this other person. And you're like, you got to keep in mind too that when you're leading, the person behind you is doing whatever they're doing, and then vice versa. That you only have your own perspective of what's going on. I have had zero issues with any of my judging calls. It is 3 people. There's 3 different people with 3 different opinions, and so we had one incident a long time ago, but we have actually become very good friends with that individual who made those comments. We actually reference it, and we laugh about it. So, and he is a competitive individual, and he wanted a definitive answer as to why he didn't win or whatever. But yeah, we haven't had any issues with that. So.
Well, I mean, if you can come back and be like, this is why we came to that decision, then I think you got a foot to stand on.
That's why you gotta always land hang it and be like, let me check my notes.
Yeah. And usually, honestly, all I do is either spin straightened out, or
just
this person just did better. I'll
the other guy outdrove you. Sorry.
Yeah. And also, it's 3 people, right? And 2 of us are experienced drivers. One comes from more of a spectator standpoint as well, because he's a very dependent individual, and I value his opinion as to what he sees. Me and Sheldon do steamroll sometimes, where it was like, that was a better driver. But sometimes when we're on the fence, we're like, well, what did you think? Because we're both on the fence, or sometimes we 50-50 it or something. In most cases where it's like, it can go either way. Like, both drivers both did very good at this and both fucked up on this. What do you think? Because we hate the one more time thing, unless it's a really, like, needed to be done. Just try to keep it flowing. Like, one more time is so fucking boring. So
yeah. And then the other one more time thing that's so boring is it's like, oh, I need to go change my tires or do this, and it's like, all right, so now we're gonna sit around and wait.
20-minute break.
Yeah. It's like run the next bracket.
Yeah. So we always say, like, before comp starts, get your tires on. You want to run, warm them up, get them ready. And it's like herding cattle. Like, it's so difficult to talk to these kids and be like, give them definitive things. If you're in these 2 brackets, go line your cars up, and when you our guys get you to get your buddy because you don't know what the other person's number is, totally fine. Just fucking do this one task, and it still fucks up every event. And they lead up to it, then we get complaints afterwards of, hey, why did this take so long? So an argument, like, I literally cannot understand how you fucked up just standing in line. You get your car ready, go into the line. I don't get it. What? So anyways,
life is hard,
especially when you're 18, live home.
It really gets harder.
Life is so hard.
Yeah. Final bout. Good drivers, bad drivers. People.
This year was pretty stacked, though. There was some crazy ass.
That
super
Corvette
good driving.
looks sick.
The Corvette was hilarious. Did you see the?
I saw the Uber.
But did you see the Hoonigan walkthrough thing where Ilya's like, "Who owns this American car? Why is there stickers on it?" That was pretty awesome. There's some funny stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting.
There's some great moments, but yeah, it was pretty rad that there was a vet there. He was shredding pretty hard.
And that's
his name, Mike. Yeah, well, that's like Juan Martinez, I think.
I like those
Juan's
weird
car
chassis.
is dope. The CTSV is sweet.
Yeah.
He's hilarious too. He was like on High Fade. They won the first one.
Ah, okay.
He's one of the High Fade guys. I think he had like the FC, because they were basically FC, FD, and G35 or something. 350Z, but they all had like LS swaps.
Yeah.
And they won the first Final Bout ever.
They're
like
all black,
yeah, we're all standing on the hill at the first Final Bout watching each other's like competition runs, and then we all like looked at each other and it was like, did the team with a bunch of V8s just win this JDM inspired drift event? Like, what just happened? I think that just happened. A team with all Japanese cars with V8 swaps just won this.
But they were also very cool. Black.
Yeah, it was sick.
Wheels.
And they threw it down. That run was sick.
Yeah, you can't deny it.
They won it.
Hey, if a Japanese car with a Japanese motor can't do it, then whatever. It's their own fault. You let Japan down. That's what you did.
We did. We all let Japan down every single time. I don't even know who won. Was there a top 5 judge off?
There was.
Oh, it was Brian, the Miata.
AJ.
Yeah, AJ won.
AJ won.
Oh, AJ won.
And I think Rich
Brian was up there,
came in
right?
second.
Okay.
The yellow Miatos.
And the yellow Miata guy.
Yeah, it's Brian Peter. He's like a local dude, and AJ's a local dude. I don't know where.
Well, AJ lives in Texas now.
He does now, but he's Chicago.
I thought he was in Arizona now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah. I meant to say Tucson.
Toucan, Sam Land.
I saw his garage on Instagram, and I was like, this is very Australian, because he had it was so cool.
Yeah.
Just perfect cement, and it has an open garage, because it's just essentially a shelter with a stained glass, the frosted glass door. I was like, man, that is so nice.
It looks cool. Yeah.
Very cool. But also, you have to live in Arizona. It's really hot.
It's hot.
I don't like heat. So.
I want to go down there and drive. They have
Muscle Man
an event in February.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about it because Matt just moved down there.
Yeah, I have a place that's 20 minutes from the track. It's my grandma's place, but
nice, really.
It's a long haul.
That is another. It's a lot longer than Grange.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 20 minutes from Nogales.
Yeah, I googled it once and I was like, ugh.
How many hours is it?
I think that's close to 24 or so, 20 maybe.
From the border or from
Vancouver.
Yeah.
So 20 to 22 hours.
It took us 24 hours to get to Willow Springs from Olympia, I think.
Yeah, it took us a full 24 hours from like Portland to Grange last time.
Actually, it took us like 30 something hours from LA, or from Vancouver to LA.
Yeah.
But we took like a 6-hour beach nap in
Nice.
somewhere in
It's
Oregon.
It's worth it. Beaches are good.
Yeah, it was good.
There's not a lot of beaches between Vancouver and Wisconsin.
No. A lot of lake beaches in Minnesota.
Did you guys stay in Canada for a lot of it?
No. Oh well, we had to pick up Carter.
Yeah, I see.
So we had to go up through the Rockies and over to.
Yeah. All the way to Saskatchewan and then went south into like North Dakota.
Yeah.
The witches are coming.
Zvind. Yeah. Had enough Final Bout for now?
Yeah. Unless you want to talk about something else. I wasn't there. I have no idea what's going on. Talk about Debbie's summer. Cause
highlights? Was there any lowlights?
Lowlights.
What was your worst moment of Final Bout?
My worst moment.
Did you guys go out drinking? Were you super hungover?
I went out drinking the first night.
Friday night? After setup?
Yeah, the Friday night. Or maybe, yeah.
Because I think that was the party night.
It seemed like that was the part. I mean, I don't know. I went to Longhorn.
Yeah.
I tried to get a pitcher of beer. They didn't have any pitchers.
Try getting food at the Longhorn.
I got food.
You got food?
Yeah,
it actually
food.
arrived like 6 hours later?
Basically, we just had to stand at the pool table and wait for the food.
Yeah.
And then when we got it, we went out back, and there was no lights. We just sat
in the
dark and ate.
Fantastic.
But it was cool because you could look inside, which was well illuminated, and see everything going on inside, and no one could see what you were doing.
Laugh at the hilarious nonsense that's happening. Longhorn is like this little local bar.
It's no bigger than this garage.
It's not very big, and like 200 people showed up the first time we were there, and like everybody ordered food, and they have no kitchen really. And they were just like so overwhelmed and confused, and there was locals like walking in the door being like, "What the fuck?" and just like slamming the door and leaving. Like this is.
Is that the one with the punching machine and the horse?
Yeah, that's where all that stuff is from, and it's just like, I don't know what a normal D-Day at the Longhorn is, but like a Final Bout drift day at the Longhorn, it's like, what is going on?
Those hole-in-the-wall bars are pretty neat. I went to one in Boston. It was as big and wide as this place.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a very intimate meeting.
Yeah, but it gets really rowdy and very loud, and I'm sure they're not usually like that. It's usually pretty quiet. Probably just like I picture a couple guys like sitting at the bar.
Yeah, like
an old school
This is a regular pint.
Yeah, just like someone drinking a Coors Light and a couple guys shooting pool, waiting for someone to bring them a bag of weed or something. Who knows? And then like 300 of the most obnoxious, stupid, annoying, bedazzled children walk in and just like start running around with a donkey mask at the punching machine.
Actually, seeing those photos, that's what made me like, that's what I miss about drifting.
I didn't go out.
You know what I liked most about drifting is the after party, the drinking, and then the shooting the shit after the thing that you just did.
It wasn't even an after, because we set up on Friday, hung out. It was kind of rainy and cold all on Friday, but we set up our pits and got there, and everybody says hi and hangs out. And then it was like everybody partied that night. So Saturday is like competition day, and everybody is super hungover and dead, and half the people camped, half some of them slept in their cars, I'm sure. Some of us went to a hotel like civilized adults. It was my first time in a hotel ever, I think. But we were refreshed and showed up. We had breakfast at the hotel. Did you guys stay at the hotel? Or did you guys camp?
No, we stayed at the
you had a B&B?
Borders Inn.
Okay, so you were there.
The hotel,
yeah. Discount with some breakfasts.
Yeah, that place was cheap.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I was like, I'm fully willing to pay for the hotel there, knowing like what those drift days are like, and having the ability to come and take a shower and sleep in
nice.
a bed.
Yeah, there is showers and stuff at the track.
There are actually, honestly,
they're actually decent when it's like when it quietens down at night and you just go have a shower. Like the first time we slept in the parking lot, like I usually sleep in the backseat of my truck, but like it was pouring rain. Matt and Angela set up their tent on the deck of the trailer so they weren't in a lake.
Yeah.
And then like Mark is curled up in the backseat of Angela's truck, and but at least there were showers there.
Honestly, that track has the nicest facilities of any track I've been to.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like
it's
head, shoulders, knees, and toes above every track I've been to.
It's quite awesome.
Like in terms of the pit is so nice.
Yeah.
Like the facilities, like washrooms, showers, concession.
Did you go in the women's room? Did you check it out?
I never went in the women's room.
Chelsea says in the ladies' washroom there's like a full makeup table and counter and like hair dryers and like individual showers.
Man, at Grange, like there's not even a bathroom.
Well, in Grange there's like the little like leather skinned friggin' midget guy. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Pete?
I don't know.
He's like a little leathery skinned guy. He just
like
wanders around. Yeah, we showed up at 6 a.m. at Grange because we drove for 24 hours. Like we left Portland in the morning and got to Grange in the morning through various instances. But we showed up. We're like, sweet. We got like a couple hours before this day's drift event starts. Let's get a nap before people show up. And we literally like throw out sleeping bags, get stuff, and like lay down and like, okay, close your eyes. And then it was like, and this little dude who does security and lives at the track hot laps the friggin' go-kart track on his little 4-stroke dirt bike all morning. So we're trying to sleep, but Pete's out there just trying to set his fast time of the day. So we didn't get any sleep.
Your personal record.
We drove like all day, all night, and then didn't get any sleep, did a drift day, and then Super D was the next day. So we actually got like 2 drift days in on that weekend. And we slept almost none, and then everybody got there from FD at like 3 in the morning. So we literally like went to bed at like midnight maybe, and then by 3 everybody showed up from LA and started unloading their drift cars again, and half of them unloaded their side-by-sides, and then like Metallica at full volume, and those like, disappear into the desert. It's like, what is happening? We're like Mad Max all of a sudden. It was weird. That was like our road trips, like our Final Bout trips or like Super D trips, have always been just experiments in sleep deprivation. See how long you can go before you're just hallucinating and hate everything.
I'm terrible at that. I need so much sleep.
Yeah.
Drive night 6, no sleep.
Yeah. I can do decent. Angela is really good at it because she's a doctor and she's been practicing.
Yeah.
My age is definitely showing because I can't handle it anymore. Like, I can't do that for very long anymore. I get right messed up. I used to be able to go on quite little amounts of sleep and be able to function quite well, but now I'm just like, I am gonna be sick.
I think it compounds. You know what I mean? You do a couple of nights with like no sleep, but like if you do them in a row, or you start stacking 3 or 4, and then
yeah.
What's no sleep though? Like 2-3 hours, 4, 5, 6.
I would say no sleep is no sleep. But
no sleep is no sleep. 2 or 3 hours is very little sleep. 5, 6 is a luxury on a drift road trip. Because we literally drove until like 3 a.m. and then slept till 5 a.m. and then drove and got to Green Bay. We had like a 2-hour nap in like somewhere in Montana.
I almost wish we would have done that because like we drove. Well, when we went
We're on the verge of dying at all times though. It's so sketchy. Like one wrong move, I have no reaction time. Like a frog could kill me right now. Holy shit! What was that? Oh god! Cliff. It's sketchy, and it was snowing on our way. I don't know how the weather was in Canada, but we were apparently South Dakota there was like a foot of snow and a crazy snowstorm. North Dakota was kind of okay, but it was almost 0, and we had cars on the trailer with no coolant. So we stopped after like a 3 or 4 hour stint to like fuel up and have some food, and I was like, "What? It is I think this was like Boozman or whatever it is. And it was like, it is goddamn cold outside. And it just, for some reason, like, I was like, holy shit, like, you guys drive at Park. Do you have coolant in your cars? Like, antifreeze? Or just straight water? And Matt and Landon were like, straight water. And I was like, because it's fucking cold. And we're going 80 miles per hour in the rain that's like feeling like sleet right now.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna be frozen and broken. So we like pulled their rad hoses off and dumped their water and then like idled the cars for like 20 minutes on the trailer to get them up to temp with antifreeze in them.
Yeah.
Because we were like, we're gonna get to the other side of the mountain, go to unload these things. There's gonna be no coolant and a bunch of popped radiators.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna suck. Koyo, can you overnight us a couple Koyo 8.6 swap rads right now? But there's all these little things that happen on these road trips. They're so, like, we'll remember that for a long time. Just stupid things like that.
We switched all the trailer wheels to aluminum wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And then put new tires on.
For weight savings?
The new tires or the aluminum wheels?
Yeah. A little of both.
Yeah, exactly. So then, yeah, we were in Fargo.
Yeah. Always a good time in Fargo.
And one of the wheels looked like it wasn't truly in line, the middle wheel. And we're like, oh. So we go over, and the lugs were loose. Sweet. So it had been just walking around. Yeah, and the lugs had eaten all the holes. And then, since it was an aluminum wheel, the seat of the aluminum wheel galled up all the threads.
Yeah, it was just
sweet. So you couldn't tighten on anyway. Mm-hmm. And then the aluminum wheel has a thicker face than the steel wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was all sorts of screwed. So yeah, like we basically had to get new studs in that thing, and that cost us half a day or more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had our first actual failure on the way back. And it wasn't a failure that, other than like some electrical wires on the trailer that we had on the way out, I believe. But on the way back, we actually had a like broken shackle, like a leaf spring shackle at the back. There, yeah. One of them actually broke on the little, the balance bar, whatever you want to call it, because it was a triple axle.
Yeah.
And one of those broke. We had lunch, called a local like heavy duty truck shop. He was like, stop by, and we go over there. He rummages around in a pile and hands Matt a couple pieces of metal and a big bolt after he came and measured it. And he's like, $7.85 or something, like $7.
Yeah.
So we just go outside on the side of the road and change it. 20 minutes later, we're back on the road. Like that and like one punctured tire. And we did all the math after because we were laughing about it. But like, that's Final Bout trip 4 on top of all the Grange and then all the trips to and from Park or Spirit Peaks and like all of my trips from Calgary to Portland back in the day, like 20,000 plus miles with only like one shackle broken and one puncture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our luck has been really good for road trips. But
honestly, yeah, most people with a trailer get like one blowout every
like,
time they take it out.
Gold Star, the first time they came out from California, they like all 6 tires spontaneously exploded. Like
same time?
Yeah, I don't really know if that's 100% true, but that's the comedic version. Is that we had to replace every single tire on this rig.
They had multiple pump blowouts.
Oh, they had non-stop blowouts. They ended up just having to buy 6 new tires because they just kept replacing random tires, and then they're like, "We're buying 6 new tires," because they just kept losing tires. Because you blow one out and you don't really notice it because that was on a huge rig, like a commercial rig.
Yeah.
Colton, not Colton. What the hell's his name? He's Paul Walker Jr. Can't remember his name. Corbin. Yeah, Corbin Dallas. Corbin actually got like his CDL and drove a rig with a 5-car trailer. Like an enclosed like race trailer. It was sick. The first Gold Star like version of Final Bout was sick. They showed up in this crazy rig and it was like, what the hell? But he had the same issue where they could only drive 8 hours and they had all just tire failure galore and
honestly, like paying the money to
just be a passenger.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I don't know how much the flight would have been, but like
Chelsea's was like $1,000 because Chelsea flew because I didn't want her to.
Oh yeah.
We were like driving at 7 months pregnant, sitting in a truck for
that many hours,
3 days each way at least is not going to be fun.
And having to pee like every.
So we were like, she was like, I'm just booking a flight, and I think it was like $1,000 from here, and she flew right into Green Bay. I just had to drive down the road because we got there 2 days early, and hung out at McClure's place. You know Ryan McClure? He used to have that sweet red Good Line.
I totally know that
Beams
car
86.
Yeah.
He was driving Black's JZX90.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's his car now.
That car's
he sold the 86, and his his JZX is sweet. I don't know what version it is, if it's a Chaser or a Mark II or what, but he's like Dark Squad. We stay at his place usually. So we rolled into his house at like 4 a.m. He had just bags of chips, nachos, what do you call them? Fucking triangular corn chips?
Doritos?
Not Doritos, just like, and salsa, because Matt loves salsa. So he basically just had craft...
Tortilla chips.
He had craft beer and tortillas and salsa lined up just in his garage. We rolled up, his garage doors are up, he's hanging out at 4 a.m. waiting for us. We roll in like hallucinating and like park on his lawn, get stuck in his sump pump drain, and he's got just food for us in his garage. He's like, come on in, let's stay up all night. You're here already, this is sick. And yeah, it was sweet. So we roll in there. So we went to Chicago and went to TF to the after barbecue the 1 year, but we've never been into Chicago other than that. So we haven't had the like drive around Chicago experience ever. Yeah. Which kind of sucks, but it's just a whole other leg of the journey that
it really is. It's another 4 hours.
It's another logistics thing too, because you got 2 trucks and trailers, and it's not exactly a low crime city. And I don't know anybody in Chicago. Like, everybody is rad, and they would probably put you up. But like, what do you do with your stuff?
We just left the whole trailer at TF.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And Dave was rad. Like,
yeah,
Dave like rolled under my car when I was fixing it, and I was almost ready. He's like, "What do you need? How close are you? Can I help?" I was under there working, and he like rolls under. He's like, "Hey man, how's it going?
Yeah,
what do you need?" And I was showing him my dampening knobs, and we're like talking about the underside of my car. But it was like sick. He's like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just got to put my exhaust back on, and I'll try and get back out there." And he's like, "Yeah, sweet, okay."
You see him out there driving that midget car?
Yeah.
Like the biggest smile. Like
those things, they were built by like the local high school.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're super cool. And I think Dave was driving the fast one. Because there's a bunch that are just like FJ 1200 motors.
Oh, okay.
And there's one that has like whatever, not Hayabusa, but something else, like a lot more juice.
It looked
like
one
he was driving.
Yeah, he was trying to drift it.
Yeah, well they are drift cars. They made them as like a weird learning rental drift thing. Like they're set up to drift. They're not set up to grip so much.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, like, and such a short wheelbase.
I know.
It's so narrow too. Like
because Pat, who owns and runs US Air, he built them with a local high school or something, and McClure was helping test drive them or help develop them or whatever. So he got to drive them too, and he said they're friggin' hilarious. But it looked fun because TF, like, I couldn't see a lot, but from the fence you could like see him throwing it into the Super D corner. Like, oh my god, like that looks like just he's gonna shoot off into the trees and die.
Well, I was at the advanced on the end of day 2 when they're running reverse.
Yeah.
Waiting for Carter to like get in his car, and all of a sudden he just pulls up beside me and just like is screaming and like going woo woo. And I look over and I'm like, oh shit, that's Dave. Like, that's DF Dave. Oh, that's funny.
Those two have been, Dave and Mike have always helped a lot of the zip tie guys big time. They've been super nice and very accommodating with all the zip tie guys. And that's what I actually used to start buying all my parts, because in Canada it was so expensive.
Yeah.
And with zip tie discount and whatever, it was awesome.
Super discount at TF.
Well, it made it affordable.
TF is a pretty cool place.
Yeah, if I lived in Chicago, I'd probably hang out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Mike does the grip stuff in his S14.
Yeah. And
then Dave is more. Actually, I don't know what Dave does. And this guy there, who also works at Stance, who has a Mark II Super as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who that would be.
Is Stance like close by? Because they definitely work hand in hand with each other.
I think it's the same thing. It is the same thing. I believe. Well, the warehouse is the same. Because when we were there, Dave was like, "Come look at these," and he was showing us shocks to try and fit on the back of Matt's Celica, because he was like, "You guys are running the most archaic. Like, you have fucking leaf springs. What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, TF is Stance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always thought they were. I thought they were technically 2 separate companies, and
they are
2 different locations.
2 fully separate companies,
but it's in the same spot,
owned by the same person in the same location.
In the same, the shop.
The
TF shop is the Stance warehouse.
Yeah.
Is the
Okay.
TF Warehouse Parts. It's pretty sweet. They had a big barbecue there after the first one. And we went into town and hung out for a bit.
Yeah, on the second one they had a barbecue too, and we got into town and went basically like straight to Final Bout the next day.
It probably was the second one.
And then we're there, and then we went and Mark was there at that barbecue.
It probably was the second one.
Mark was at that barbecue.
Yeah, because I'm thinking Ponflo was there. So that was the time.
Pretty sure they have a barbecue every year because I've seen lots of barbecue.
I'm just trying to remember which one we were at. If Mark was there, then it was definitely the one.
Yeah.
Same one that you were at, because we've only went once.
But from doing that, we were like, okay, if we go back, we're gonna go back and give time on the beginning, not time on the end.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the event ends, everyone just goes.
Everyone has to leave.
Yeah.
You gotta go back to real life.
And
you're so worn out.
Yeah, also going 4 hours further away from where you are.
Yeah.
To go to Chicago at that point seems like
even longer to get home.
Yeah.
It's like the day after Christmas. You're like, I don't want this tree up anymore. This is it. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. We took our time getting back. Stopped at Cracker Barrel.
I got to eat at Chick-fil-A on this trip. That was a first for me.
Sweet.
I've been trying to go, and it just never happened.
I've been to Cracker Barrel now, in Montana.
I've not been to Cracker Barrel.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
It's like going back in time. I think I had Grandpa's breakfast or something weird like that.
Is it made with Cracker Barrel cheddar?
Hopefully. All the barrels of crackers around there. Saw some there's 2 Toyota Land Cruisers out right beside it that were like abandoned.
Oh yeah, like I remember seeing that on I don't know if it was the story or
yeah, and they were just like parked there, and they both had like tow notices, like abandoned vehicles. It's like
I would say I'm like ditch the cars and trailer those.
Yeah, like grab those.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah. Chris is done.
No.
I don't
have anything to add to Final Bout.
I'm gonna hit the stop button and we can recoup.